Hey YouTubers, welcome to the Cyber Overwatch channel. I am Pragmatic1. In a previous video, Vulnerability Triage, a comprehensive guide, I discussed what Vulnerability Triage is and how it is generally implemented. But today, we're going to focus on the basics of what a day-to-day Vulnerability Triage process might look like for a vulnerability management team. We won't be diving too deep into the technical weeds, but this should give you a good, solid understanding of what's involved. Some of the topics I will be discussing include what should be in place prior to implementing vulnerability triage. Things such as reviewing the asset inventory, defining a scope, configuring scheduled scans, and running scans. I will also discuss reviewing scan results, prioritizing and categorizing vulnerabilities, and finally generating a report to provide to stakeholders and support teams. If you find this content informative and you are interested in cybersecurity, please like and subscribe to the Cyber Overwatch channel. Also, for more free content, please regularly check back on www.cybersec.com. As noted in a previous video, vulnerability triage is a fundamental step in an effective vulnerability management program, ensuring that organizations prioritize and address security vulnerabilities based on risk and impact. Given the high volume of vulnerabilities identified daily, security teams must systematically assess, categorize, and prioritize them to allocate resources efficiently and mitigate potential threats effectively. This demonstration should provide a general idea of what vulnerability triage should entail on a basic level. Before you can even begin to perform vulnerability triage, it is essential to establish and maintain a comprehensive asset inventory. Asset inventory management is crucial to vulnerability triage because it provides the foundation for an effective and efficient vulnerability management process. An accurate asset inventory ensures visibility into all organizational systems, software, and network components, allowing the VM team to configure accurate scope definitions, accurately assess potential vulnerabilities, and gain an understanding of asset ownership, just to name a few benefits. Why is asset inventory management so important? If we look at this asset management platform, we can see some of the information the vulnerability management team can gain. The asset management solution provides the asset name, the asset owner, the asset location, the OS, etc. How is this information useful? The first thing is it will provide information that a vulnerability management solution such as Tenable.sc or Qualys cannot do. It can provide an asset owner. As an example, host COM-0014 is owned by Catherine Bryant, located in the USA branch. I can see the OS is Windows 10 and it's a Dell Latitude. It also has an IP. This is important when trying to correlate the vulnerability data and to locate the owner of the asset when it comes to remediation or incident response. An accurate asset management solution will also assist the vulnerability management team in setting up properly scoped scans and environment coverage. In general though, the vulnerability management team will not have access to the asset management solution and will be depending on the operations and or the compliance teams to provide the scope. The asset inventory might include IP ranges, a list of specific assets, or both. Different teams within operations, such as network teams or business units, may provide this data, and compliance teams may add scope based on the regulatory requirements such as PCI DSS or HIPAA frameworks, as an example. In a lot of cases, the vulnerability management team will obtain the scope through merger and acquisitions, migrations, or similar projects. As an example, the vulnerability management team may receive an asset list similar to what is shown on the screen, or the network team may provide IP ranges obtained from a network management solution. Depending on the vulnerability management platform, they can be added to the subscription like Qualys or entered into a scan template like Tenable.sc. Once we have our scope defined, it's time to configure our vulnerability scan with tools such as Tenable.sc, Qualys, or Nexpose. In this scenario, the vulnerability management team added the provided scope into the platform and schedules scans based on business requirements. When scheduling scans, it's best practice to schedule scans after business hours to prevent service interruption. For part of this demonstration, I will be using Qualys. In order for me to begin scanning, I will need to first add my network ranges or IPs I obtained from operations. On the screen, you can see that the scope is added to the Qualys subscription, which is accessible from Qualys's VMDR address management tab. This scope will limit what Qualys can scan. With our scheduled or ad hoc scan configured, the next step is running the scans. Scans can be automated on a schedule or triggered manually. In most cases, when a manual scan is executed, this is usually called an ad hoc scan. Ad hoc scans are usually requested by system owners through a ticketing system like Remedy or ServiceNow. Part of the vulnerability management team's job is to monitor the team queue for tickets requesting ad hoc scans, scan troubleshooting, report requests, or vulnerability management guidance. I executed the scan and I will let it run. The vulnerability scanner will go through its detection process during this time. After the scan is complete, another task of the vulnerability management team is to verify that the scan ran successfully. This means checking for authentication failures, blocked traffic, or any anomalous results. In the Nessus scan, I can see the status showed completed, so I'm assuming that the scan ran successfully. If we see failures or unexpected results, it could mean a firewall blocked the scanner is offline, or credentials did not authenticate correctly. These need to be addressed before moving forward. In cases where there is a possible scan failure, it's a good idea to review the informational plugins. Looking at the Nessus scan, I can look at plugin ID 19506, which will provide scan information such as the scan type, scan name, scan policy used, if credentials were used, scan duration, etc. Another plugin ID would be plugin ID 110723, target credential status by authentication protocol, no credentials provided. This tells me that this scan was run without credentials, even with SSH detected. One more example would be plugin ID 10287, which provides traceroute information, and I can see that the scanner reached the target host successfully. Once the vulnerability management team knows the scan has executed successfully, the vulnerability management team can analyze the results. The goal here is to help the operations teams prioritize their remediation efforts. This is done by the vulnerability management team analyzing the results, looking for false positives, and prioritizing the results based on a prioritization matrix. Some vulnerabilities may have more of an impact due to their severity or environmental characteristics than other vulnerabilities, so you would need to remediate those first. As an example, in this vulnerability scan, it looks like Log4Shell was detected. If this vulnerability scan was detected on an internet-facing Apache server, that's a critical risk and must be addressed immediately before an internal server. We also check for false positives so teams don't waste time chasing non-issues. Another part of the process for the vulnerability management team is reporting. The vulnerability management team compiles findings into a report and distributes them to the relevant stakeholders. The type of report generated can be a custom report put together by the vulnerability management team or an out-of-the-box template report from the vulnerability management solution. Dashboards may also be used. It all depends on the organization. An asset management solution with documented asset ownership makes it easier to send reports to the right teams, and of course, the vulnerability management team makes themselves available to answer questions and provide remediation guidance. After prioritization, organizations must determine the appropriate course of action, whether it's patching, reconfiguration, implementing compensating controls, or continuous monitoring. The vulnerability management team should provide the support teams the necessary information and guidance on what needs remediation and how to remediate. Assistance is also provided through rescanning. Post-remediation validation ensures vulnerabilities are effectively mitigated, reducing the risk of exploitation. And that's a basic look at the vulnerability triage process, from asset inventory management, defining the scope, to generating reports. Every step plays a crucial role in an organization's security posture. Vulnerability triage is a critical aspect of an organization's cybersecurity strategy. By implementing a structured approach to identifying, assessing, and prioritizing vulnerabilities, organizations can significantly reduce their attack surface and enhance overall security resilience. Thank you for tuning into this video, Vulnerability Triage, a basic demonstration. Thank you for also checking out the Cyber Overwatch channel. If you find this content informative and you are interested in cybersecurity, please like and subscribe to the Cyber Overwatch channel. For more free content, check out the CyberSec website found in the description. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a question in the comments, or you can send me a message from the CyberSec website listed in the description. Until next time, keep learning. The only way to improve is to keep learning. Pragmatic One, signing off.